Right now, we muse in the news with Gordo. It's brought to us by D&M Leasing and All Pro Foundation Repair.
Thank you so much, Miller Man. So Josh Brent's attorneys have said that there was no evidence that he'd been drinking inside that nightclub before the crash that killed his best friend. But yesterday, they showed surveillance footage from Club Privé that showed him drinking alcohol from a bottle just before the accident. And in addition to showing the video, prosecutors also called Barry Church and Danny McCrae to the stand before they rested their case. So they've wrapped up the trial, fourth day. It was only 4 days, and then I guess the prosecutors wrapped it up. So I guess it's the defense's turn now? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were at 3 private tables, Brown and Brent, and there were some other teammates there. And Barry Church testified that he served himself alcohol that night, but that he only saw Brent with 1 glass of champagne. And there were some waitresses, I guess, that testified that they didn't think Brent was intoxicated that night. And one waitress said he appeared to be in better shape than those standing around him. Jurors also saw a photograph of Brown laying on a gurney at the hospital. Laying?
Lying.
How about just on a gurney?
On a gurney. Thank you, Craig. And they showed some photos from Brown's autopsy, which revealed that he had suffered a broken neck and brain hemorrhaging. And when the photos were shown up on the screen, Josh Brent closed his eyes and hung his head, and one of his attorneys handed him a tissue so he could wipe his eyes. But I guess at one point, he held up 2 bottles, one in each hand. In the video, he's seen raising his arms with a bottle in each hand.
I thought you were saying in the courtroom he did that.
No, that would be a...
So when you get the
horrible
bottles,
metaphorical middle finger to the justice system.
when you get the bottle service, which means you're really rolling, I guess we can get bottle service. How does a waitress keep up with how much you're drinking?
They don't.
So if you're going straight to the bottle, there's no way to keep up with that.
They only keep up with how much you're spending, and then they add up what their tip is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, and you assume, okay, there's 6 people at the table, they're all splitting it, but he could have downed the whole thing himself.
Yeah, they had that toxicology dude who said that he had 17 drinks that night.
Wow.
According to his blood alcohol content and his weight and the time since he had not been drinking from the accident onward. So that's what happened to the Josh Brent thing. Trouble for the little ticket. We get news that at 11:24 yesterday morning, officers from the police department's missing persons squad found 36-year-old Jose Hernandez Florez in the creek in the 3500 block of Maple Avenue.
All right, that's a stretch. That's trouble for the ticket.
Right by our old studios.
We don't live there anymore.
What was the address of our old studio?
3500 Maple.
But I said we're not there anymore, so how's that trouble for us?
Maple Deli.
I miss the Maple Deli.
I believe a gentleman was pulled out of a creek.
And you're missing their turkey sandwiches.
I miss the fact that he was no longer with us.
You miss the fact that he was no longer with us.
He never said he was dead. He just said he was pulled out.
True.
He was missing.
He was, his body was pulled out of there. So
right. But I'm sorry for the Maple Deli reference then.
He was reported missing back on January 10th, and they say that there were no visible signs of trauma found on him, and his death will be classified as unexplained until they conduct an autopsy. But back on December 29th, a 50-year-old woman, Christy Pennington, was found on a park trail not very far away at Turtle Creek in Maple Avenue, and there were no signs of foul play on her, and her cause of death still pending.
Very fishy.
I just thought that park was a little creepy.
Oh, that park is extremely creepy.
Why is it creepy? It's in a nice section of town.
It's like one of the seediest parks in the Metroplex.
What makes it seedy?
All of the seedy activity that goes on there.
They're so seedy, they put grass where that parking lot used to be because there's so many wheels-off things going on in that parking lot.
What are
that
wheels-off
parking
things?
lot
What do you mean?
is known for heavy drug use,
random pickups,
gay activity.
Well, what's wrong with gay activity? That's a choice.
Extremely gay activity.
What does that mean?
And random gay
and
activity.
Extreme drug use.
What is random gay activity?
It means that if you went into that parking lot and backed into a parking space, it means you were ready for action. You were ready to go.
Well, what makes that seedy? I'm saying that is a love choice, lifestyle choice that is
any sexual
to
activity,
heterosexual marital
don't
action.
talk to him.
Any sexual activity conducted in a park is seedy.
In a car that's seedy.
Or is it just hot?
By most standards. Not yours, but by our standards and most. It's seedy.
So what's going on over there that two people have unexplained deaths?
When they are
Work of the same person?
When they're unexplained, I usually attribute it to space aliens. So
yeah, he's not taking it seriously.
That's my educated guess.
Craig's got a case of the Fridays.
Stop talking.
I can't. This is a segment I'm responsible
Start talking
for.
Again.
7 weeks after that big ice storm, crews are still collecting all the brush that fell down as a result of the ice.
Man.
They say that the number one topic for the city of Garland right now is the brush that has been on curbs for a month already. They still haven't gotten around to picking it up. Now, normally, the amount of brush collected in the city of Garland for a year is 13,500 tons. Already, the city of Garland this year, which is only, 20 days old? What's the date today?
17.
17 days old. They've already collected 8,500 tons of brush. And they say that calls related to brush collection are 10 times higher than usual, and email to customer service up 250% from the time of the storm through Tuesday, when I guess they did the reporting on the story. Over the 5 weeks, the last 5 weeks, Dallas brush collection has doubled from their normal to about 25,000 tons. And I didn't realize this. Craig, I believe you are a Dallas resident.
Indeed, I am.
Dallas's requirement to place brush curbside only on the week of pickup has been waived through January 23rd.
Oh, you can put it out there whenever?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I also am a Dallas resident, and I've been having to execute this brush schedule like with military precision because I'm so scared of getting ticketed. And now I find out they waived it.
Good.
Why didn't someone tell me that?
Bring some branches down, dump them in y'all's front yard.
I just go and take my paint cans to my neighbor's one. Let him risk it. Yes. God, I hate bulk trash. I don't know why I'm always convinced that they're just not going to take it. They're just going to look at it and say, I'm not taking this crap away for you.
They take everything.
I know, but that's why I don't understand why I'm so irrational when it comes to it. And I think every time I put up a Mount McKinley of refuse, that they're going to say, screw this, and they're just going to skip my house.
No, they'll take it.
All right, bad news if you're going to try to use the Tollway this weekend. Both directions of the Tollway around LBJ will be reduced to one lane, if not closed entirely.
Where LBJ work?
Yes. It's going to be the demolition of LBJ's old lanes that go over the Tollway.
I'm so happy that my commute takes me nowhere close to LBJ.
Uh-oh, here's the inside the loop elitist, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is.
I just hate LBJ with a passion.
It's going to be great, though, when they get it all done.
Is it?
Yeah. Tunnels, lanes out the wazoo.
Video games.
Yeah.
They're doing it all. Smoking. There's a big report that was released on smoking from the Surgeon General. I've always been confused by his title. Surgeon General.
Who is our Surgeon General now?
C. Everett Koop.
Still? I thought he was dead.
He is dead.
He is dead.
And the only reason I remembered him was because of the chin strap beard that he had.
Plus, he had a weird name, C. Everett Koop. You can't forget that name.
Is that right?
Okay. Anyway.
Now Dr. Salmon is gone.
But wasn't, who was the one
Dr. Salmon
wanted people to handle up on themselves? It was the woman, right? Who was the Surgeon General?
Dr. Ruth Westheimer?
Jocelyn Elders.
Jocelyn Elders, she was the one who wanted us to all monkey with ourselves?
Yes.
The current Surgeon General is Boris T. Lushniak.
Good to be with you.
Russian?
Lushniak? Boris Lushniak.
Boris.
We're going to believe anything he says?
Infiltrated?
This Ruski, who's trying to undermine us from within? Investigate him as a sleeper cell.
Opulence. I hesitate.
It says here he's a rear admiral.
Oh, my, I bet he is.
He is a native of Chicago, but with Ukrainian ancestry.
Why can't we? Nobody can handle the term rear admiral. Why don't they just change it? He's with the KGB?
Yep.
Okay.
You didn't know that? Rear Admiral.
Anyway, there's a report on smoking that says that it causes even more physical and financial damage than previously estimated. It kills 480,000 Americans a year from diseases.
That's what we've been trying to tell
as a
you,
result
Gordo.
of smoking. Diabetes, colorectal cancer, and liver cancer. And, you all right, George?
It's not me.
Might want to get that checked out. And that smoking causes rheumatoid arthritis, erectile dysfunction, which is weird because Fernando didn't even smoke. So, macular degeneration, age-related blindness, inflammation, impairs the immune function, increases the risk of death from tuberculosis, and harms pregnant women and their fetuses by causing birth defects, causing cleft palates, cleft lips and palates, and causing ectopic pregnancies.
So let me get this straight.
No evidence that it causes that.
Let me get this straight. This is a new study out telling us that smoking is bad for our health.
It's worse than we thought it was.
It's even worse.
Yes.
And yet Gordo keeps vaping in 2014. They're going to come out and they're going to tell you about vaping.
There's no doubt they are.
It's not good either. Oh, you're out of vape.
No, it's fine. What up?
Stop it.
Haughty about it.
What up, America?
I don't want to breathe your secondhand vape.
How's it going?
Uh-oh.
Stop it.
Yay, Jer! I just use it because it's a nice room freshener. It smells good, doesn't it?
You do it so when you open up your Mac at Starbucks, everyone's going to look at you like you got something going.
I don't go to Starbucks with my Mac.
And Jared, don't ask us, how's it going?
That was an unnecessary question, just to call attention, call your attention to him.
Isn't that what it's for?
He
To
could
call
then
attention to the fact that
Yes.
you're vaping? That you can
Vape.
do this?
You know very well
Nice
how
shot.
it's going with us.
What's up?
Dennis McGuire is a guy who was put to death by the state of Ohio, and it didn't go well. You know, Ohio is one of the many states that ran out of the execution drug because whoever made that execution drug said, we're getting out of that execution drug business.
Did they slap him in the electric chair?
And so they had to use something else, a new combination of drugs. Anyway, so this McGuire guy was convicted in the 1994 rape and murder of a 22-year-old woman named Joyce Stewart who was 7 months pregnant. Good Lord. Her body was discovered by hikers in February of 89. Her throat had been OJ'd and she had been sodomized. Anyway, so then this guy, he gets the death penalty, and so they put him to death. Well, they injected him with a new drug cocktail in front of his family and his victim's family, and he started to gasp and convulse for 10 minutes.
Wow.
Before the drugs took effect, he thanked the family of his victim for a letter that he had apparently received from them. And he said, "To my children, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm going to heaven, and I'll see you there when you come."
Maybe not.
Then he was injected. The execution process took 24 minutes, and he appeared to be gasping for air for 10 to 13 minutes. A witness said he gasped deeply. It was kind of a rattling guttural sound. There was kind of a snorting through his nose, and a couple times he appeared to be choking. Okay. Ready for a gordatorial?
Okay.
For some reason, I do not understand why this is so troubling to people. That this guy gasped for 13 minutes, and we wring our hands over these lethal injection drugs, talking about how cruel they are, and we don't exactly know what's going on with the prisoner, whether they may be scared as these drugs are taking effect, and they're completely immobilized, but can't communicate. We go nuts over this. If we decide that we're going to kill them, you shouldn't be worried that it's going to take longer than 10 minutes. Now, if this was some 24-hour torture session, I get it. But the fact that, hey, you know what, he died within 6 minutes, but, you know, in those 2 minutes, we don't know whether he was still conscious and maybe felt pain in his extremities.
You're saying, so what if he felt pain?
Decide that you're against the death penalty. Mm-hmm. If you're just against the death penalty, be against it. It doesn't matter whether he goes quickly or goes in 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. You're against the death penalty. Don't sidetrack this and red herring with all this, but maybe he's suffering during that. What we're doing is already eye for an eye. Some would call it barbaric.
Right.
We're killing them.
Right.
So this whole, and I don't understand why you can't just, what's wrong with the bullet in the head? Is it because it makes us feel more civilized if we do it with this, here's a nice, pleasant, lethal injection drug and everything? We're still doing something that is barbaric. We're killing someone.
Yes, and everybody knows it, but people who are for the death penalty want to pretend that they're humane, and so they want the method to be as humane as possible.
Right.
But they're really not humane because they're killing somebody.
Right. Not to get into the whole justice thing, but yes, you're right. It is that you're killing someone. Stop trying to window dress it enough to where you're pretending that, it's a very peaceful, and it's just, look, it's just as quick, isn't it, just to guillotine him?
Yeah.
Why don't we do that?
It'd be better TV.
Because it makes us feel better if we don't do that. Even though it's better for that person you supposedly have all this compassion for, that you don't want them to suffer with a drug that's paralyzed them.
I appreciate the gordatorial, but I have to demand that you talk about the big death of the day.
Dead at the age of 89, television actor Russell Johnson, better known as the Professor in Gilligan's Island.
Man.
He lived to 89, and didn't he always seem like such a nice guy?
Yes. He was the first professor.
What does that mean?
Because later I became known as the Professor, but I just want to tip my hat to the true first professor.
The only one doing that today.
He looked like he was in his 50s on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, see, I always thought he looked young.
Really?
Yeah.
30s, maybe.
Yeah.
Hello, Professor.
And didn't he seem not only extremely nice, but didn't he seem asexual?
Yes. Because he was never interested in one of them, was he?
Ginger always had the hots for the Professor, but he never gave her any signals back.
All of those guys seemed that way on that show.
See, well, no, Gilligan had his pants going a little crazy for Marianne.
He had no idea what was going on.
No, they're rich. And it was always the Skipper and Ginger that would team up, right?
No, I don't think they...
Well, I'm saying they would
team up.
Well, when they would break up into camps, that were not sexual necessarily, but it seems like they would always be cooperative, and it would be the Gilligan and Marianne who would kind of be on one side.
Yeah.
And then the Howells had their own beds.
Yeah.
That was weird.
The Professor was left to, I don't know, do it with a coconut
he didn't
in his hammock.
He didn't care about sex. He just cared about science.
Right. He didn't have time for that.
I don't know. You don't know what went on in his tent.
1P1 points out that the Professor had strong Texas ties. That
really?
On one episode, Mrs. Howell asked, "What exactly are your degrees?" And the Professor replied, "I have a BA from USC, a BS from UCLA, an MA from SMU, and a PhD from TCU."
Really and truly?
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, Professor.
Wow. I didn't realize you had to have that many degrees to be an actor.
Went to school at SMU and TCU. Got degrees there. And there are now just 2 remaining from the cast. Do you know which 2 are the ones?
Marianne.
Yep.
And I think it's Ginger.
Yep.
The 2 women. Yeah.
2 chicks. There was a 3rd woman, Natalie Schaefer. Lovey, but she's passed away.
She wasn't a chick either.
So we've lost Bob Denver, Alan Hale Jr., Jim Backus, Natalie Schaefer, and now Russell Johnson. The Gilligans Island curse.
It's not a curse.
They all lived into their 80s.
By the way, a guy named Michael just tweeted me a picture of a can of Pringles. Pecan pie Pringles.
Finally.
I'm insane now.
Why?
What do these two things have anything to do with each other?
Wow. And somebody else is reporting that Reuben from the Partridge Family
Mr.
died.
Kincaid.
He died yesterday also?
He did?
Yep.
What a horrible day for
This is
sitcoms.
breaking news. Start Muse over again. I'm not
Reuben-
going to leave with the Josh Brent thing anymore.
Reuben Kincaid was greatness.
Yeah.
God, they're going to close those burger chains?
Not really.
Dave-
Burger stores?
His real name was Dave Madden, dead at the age of 82 after a long illness.
He seemed asexual.
Stay hard, Dave and Russell.
Double.
Quick birthdays.
Betty White, 92. James Earl Jones, 83.
Awesome.
Maury Povich, 75. Former Stones guitarist Mick Taylor, 66. Steve Earle turns 59.
Greatness.
Paul Young turns 58.
Greatness.
Actor-comedian Steve Harvey, 57. Fan of the
so.
Musers.
Yep.
Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles is 55.
Yes, sir.
Naveen Andrews is 45.
Oh, God.
Kid Rock.
That's right. It's him.
No.
Stop it.
You're faking participation there. And musician Kid Rock is 43, Sawyer. Zoe Deschanel is 34. Singer Ray J, 33. Michelle Hussein Obama is 50.
That's her middle name, too?
Don Zimmer is 83.
Greatness.
Preston Pearson, 69.
Greatness.
believe he was on a talk show that we pranked one time.
Yep.
Kip Keno turns 74.
Man, this is unbelievable.
And Muhammad Ali is 72 today.
Wow, what a
This is
huge day.
Huge day.
All right, that's Muse. Coming up next, Friday Morning Scatter.